I love movies. I really can't get enough of them. I don't know why, there's just something about this particular art form that just sticks out to me and always has me wanting more, whether it's a good script, good choreography, or just stellar acting. It's why I wanted to do a movie review on this channel, just to talk about cinema, the thing I love most. Of course, the biggest question was, what movie am I going to review? Needless to say, it wasn't an easy question to answer, given how there was so much to pick from. I considered a lot of things. I thought of doing a terrible sequel like The Crow Wicked Prayer, or a slasher B movie from the 80s like My Bloody Valentine, or a 1950s monster movie like The Giant Behemoth, or even a good movie that's an underrated gem like Copland, which is my favorite movie of all time. The possibilities were endless, and I was actually going to do a crime movie, but I decided to settle on another favorite genre of mine: action. Now, there are a lot of action movies from the likes of great stars such as Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Chuck Norris, Dolph Lundgren, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Steven Seagal, not Bruce Willis, and more. These guys were without a doubt the action movie juggernauts during the 80s and 90s, but one name that probably doesn't come to mind when thinking of action heroes is Ken Wall. Wall is a phenomenal actor who has appeared in movies like The Wanderers, Fort Apache the Bronx, and of course the hit TV series Wise Guy. He's a dramatic actor with a lot of talent and emotion, but believe it or not, he has done a couple of action movies, and I'll be talking about his most well-known one. Ladies and gentlemen, the movie I am going to review today is The Taking of Beverly Hills. The film was directed by Sidney J. Furie, who also directed The Boys in Company C and Iron Eagle. This film also marks the second collaboration between him and Wall after 1984's Purple Hearts. The basic plot of the movie is that after a truck carrying hazardous chemicals crashes, the residents of Beverly Hills are forced to evacuate. However, it turns out that it was all a ruse orchestrated by a bunch of former police officers who want to get back at the city by robbing every home and building of its valuables. Retiring football star Boomer Hayes finds out about this evil plan and sets out to stop the former cops and save Beverly Hills. This movie, of course, stars Ken Wall with a supporting cast composed of Matt Frewer, Harley Jane Kozak, Robert Davi, Leeving, and Branscombe Richmond. Frewer plays Ed Kelvin, a police officer who is not very certain about the plan that the other cops organized and teams up with Boomer to help save the city. I quite like his character. The interactions between him and Boomer are nice. This night lets them take a moment to reflect on their lives. Both of them are selfish and they acknowledge that, and all they can do now is do their best to stop the bad guys. They make a good team. Kozak plays Laura, the love interest of the movie. I don't exactly have much to say about her, but the chemistry between her and Wall is honestly alright. I like her character. In my opinion, the actor who really shines the most in this movie is Robert Davi. Davi plays Bat Masterson, the boss behind the whole plan. He brings a certain level of charm and creepiness into his performance. Bat in general is a creep around Laura, almost a bit obsessive, and when he's pissed, he's pissed. He's charming, conniving, devilishly evil, and he has an over-the-top plan. He's everything you'd want in an 80s and 90s action movie villain. Just like in License to Kill, Davi's villainous acting chops never fail to disappoint. Another performance I quite like is Leeving as Varney, Bat's main lieutenant. He's essentially the token slimeball of the movie. He's the character that you just love to hate whenever he's on screen. And if I'm being honest here, Varney probably has one of my favorite deaths in any action movie.
Crime doesn't pay, boys, but it sure beats working. What? Boomer!
And lastly, there's Branscombe Richmond as crazy hitman Benitez. While there isn't really too much to his character aside from being the muscle for the villains, the action sequences he is in are all just phenomenal. Boomer and Kelvin are just running through the neighborhood as Benitez plows through everything with a fucking tank, demolishing and blowing shit up. All of the action sequences in this film are fantastic. One thing I like is that unlike a lot of action heroes, Boomer doesn't know how to use a gun, so he creates some Molotovs and uses them to blow up the cop cars. It's great. The final fight consists of Boomer driving a tank through Bat's mansion. They have an amazing exchange.
Glad you're here. I've been meaning to talk to you about my contract. It's been canceled.
and they get into a physical fight, which results in Boomer stabbing Bat with a corkscrew and killing him. The remaining cops are all arrested, Boomer gets the girl, everyone is okay. The movie was originally filmed in 1989, trying to cash in on the success of Die Hard, which came out the previous year and practically revolutionized the action genre. Throughout the 90s, there were a lot of Die Hard ripoffs such as Cliffhanger, Under Siege, and Speed, all of which are fantastic movies in their own right. The Taking of Beverly Hills can be regarded as just Die Hard in Beverly Hills. Was it predictable? Yes. Is it enjoyable? Absolutely. It's definitely one of the more unique Die Hard ripoffs. Ken Wall gives a strong performance, the villains are especially great, and the action sequences are fantastic. The soundtrack was composed by Jan Hammer, who was just as fantastic here as he was on Miami Vice. I feel like this movie is a good combination of late 80s and early 90s action, just in between that transition during that period. It honestly makes me sad knowing Ken Wall didn't get a bigger career after he left Wise Guy. Even though he's only had a career spanning 17 years and hasn't acted in over 20 years, he'll still remain my favorite actor of all time. Thank you all for watching. I'm not sure if I'll do more videos like this, but knowing my love for television and cinema, it's definitely not out of the realm of possibilities. That's all for now. Goodbye, everyone.